what is the purpose of this workout? Every good coach should be able to answer that question right off the bat. Hi there, Coach Sage Kennedy of VO2 Max Productions here with another training talk. I hope your February 2016 is off to a great start. I really want to up the quality and frequency of these videos on the YouTube channel. Thanks so much for your continued support, especially the Patreon supporters. I'm getting new camera gear. I'm going to really make a concerted effort this year to get on top of the videos, so really do appreciate that. But this training talk, I want to go straight into the maybe a seldom looked topic, I guess, of distance running training. It's the neuromuscular stimulus, so to speak, the mind-body connection. More specifically, the connection with your mind and, well, not just your mind, the neurotransmitters, but your actual muscle fibers and leading to muscle contraction in terms of improving running efficiency, essentially. And when we look at it, your brain's triggering your muscles to move for you to run or do anything physical for that matter. And what it's stimulating, and when we look at the muscles like in the legs, or all muscles actually, but mainly the legs because they're doing a lot of work when you're running, as well as the core, is the fast twitch versus slow twitch muscle fiber types and what kind of training improves that efficiency. So if we look at what I said, fast twitch muscle fibers in your muscles basically these are the two categories. I'm not explaining this well. Fast twitch muscle fibers and then slow twitch. And there's kind of a spectrum in between where they overlap, and this is what I'm going to get into, the kind of conversion, so to speak, between the muscle fiber types. But if you think of like fast twitch muscle fiber types, you think of your sprinting speed, all out sprint, 100 meter sprint, really high force, high contraction, jumping to try to dunk a basketball hoop or something, explosive strength, explosive lifting, things like that calls in a lot of fast twitch muscle fibers. Now the thing with fast twitch muscle fibers is that they fatigue really easily after, you do a couple really high intensity jumps or power lifts, and you can't keep that up. You can't keep bench pressing 300 pounds or whatever you could bench. I can't even bench anywhere close to that. I just made that number up to sound impressive. But they fatigue quickly. Whereas the slow twitch muscle fibers on the other end of the spectrum are used, more in ultra and marathon endurance running. Slow repetitive movements, less sheer force, but they keep going and going like the Energizer Bunny. You could keep doing this repetitive motion. Maybe you don't have a super powerful stride, but it keeps turning over and you run 100 miles without fatiguing too much. So kind of opposite ends of the spectrum, the fatigue there. And different muscle groups have, a different ratio of fast twitch to slow twitch kind of. Individual people have different ratios. It's the reason why I'm not a world-class sprinter. I learned right away when I was in middle school, when I started doing track and field, that the 100-meter dash wasn't going to be a good race for me. I started off, sprinting 200 meters, 400 meters, and I sucked. I think I have below average sprint speed actually for 100 meters. You could pull someone off the street in Boulder here, any fit guy, and they're probably going to beat me at a 100-meter sprint. Like, I am slow as molasses. Slowest guy on my college team basically for a 400-meter sprint, even out of the distance runners, not including the sprinters. They would totally blow my doors off. But that's because I'm mostly slow twitch muscle fibers. Now, I haven't gotten a biopsy, but that's my hunch. I think someone like Alberto Salazar even, who is a very good 5K and 10K runner, world-class marathon runner, he was like 90% slow twitch, and that's, he won Comrades Marathon. That's just an example of someone I knew who got a ratio tested. But, it's not all hope is, you don't have to worry if you are a faster sprinter than me, because there's a good chance you are. You could still be a good marathon runner, you could still run ultras, because, and this is kind of the purpose of the talk, you could convert some of your fast twitch muscle fibers to have more slow twitch muscle fiber characteristics. And this is really the core of distance running training in terms of efficiency of movement. because, you know, a lot of times we talk in these training talks about improving your cardiovascular system, improving your heart and lungs, you know, cellular adaptations like mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell density, you know, improving blood flow, improving, you know, lactate, moving around lactate, lactate acid buffering, things like that. But when you look at the actual just physical mechanics, talking about the, you know, the physics of movement, and the muscle fiber movement patterns of running form at different running velocities and things like that, you're talking about kind of a coordination issue. So it's like, you know, more other sports like, you know, basketball or soccer, ping pong, anything like that, you know, you learn certain movements and certain skill patterns, dance moves maybe, that take a lot of time to really fine tune, right? So like, you know, if you're trying to learn how to, you know, dribble a basketball between your legs or something, it might take you a while. If you're trying to learn how to, you know, juggle something, looking around for something I could juggle, you know, it's a movement pattern that you have to learn, and it, you know, it's a skill. Riding a bike, riding a unicycle, riding a bike, think of like the cadence. You know, you're working at a certain cadence. This is a lot like running. So with the running application of neuromuscular training, we look at speed training, high velocity training, you know, sprint training, basically strides. It's the reason why we do strides and have strides in the training program. It's not because I think you have to be able to sprint 100 meters. You don't, and you know, you'll never probably run a marathon race at sub 4-minute mile pace, or, you know, even a 5K. But you maybe if you're sprinting at the end, you know, the last 200 meters, maybe you're sprinting pretty fast. But it's the ease of movement idea. Whereas if you're efficient at sprinting really fast or running some 400-meter repeats at faster than race pace, all of a sudden you get in a 5K or 10K or a marathon, and it feels more comfortable. You're more relaxed because you have this neuromuscular motor patterns basically where you've learned to efficiently run really, really fast. You've learned to sprint. You've learned to do 400-meter repeats at your 3K or 5K pace. And so, you know, that half marathon pace feels a lot more comfortable. It's all relative speed training. So a lot of times we look at the speed training as you know, the adaptations in the heart and lungs, and those are key too, but we're also looking at it in terms of neuromuscular efficiency and improving your running form by ironing out any kinks. Because it's hard to heel strike if you're, you know, sprinting fast. It's hard to run with a slow stride rate if you're sprinting. If you're doing a stride, a nice relaxed fast 100 meters with a full recovery, you could focus on taking 200 steps a minute or faster. You could focus on landing under your center of gravity and not overstriding or heel striking. Whereas, you know, in doing slower paced runs, marathon pace or slower, sometimes your form gets a little sloppy. The stride rate gets too slow, you start heel striking, things like that happen. So it's about building these efficient form, essentially. And it ties to running economy, the term I defined in our book, Stage Running Secret, A Guide to Speedy Ultras. But, you know, it's also a common term. Basically think of it as like fuel economy. Like in a car, you have fuel economy. Well, running economy, it's economy of how you utilize oxygen to move your body at a certain speed over, you know, a certain distance, certain time, kind of a work output, so to speak. And if you have better running form or, you know, more efficient foot strike, faster, you know, ideal optimal stride rate, you're going to be most efficient over that race distance. So, you know, people ask, well, why do you do like 12 by 400 meters at 3K or 5K race pace with a minute and a half rest, for example? That's a kind of a speed workout I do. I call it an economy workout because I wasn't doing it because I wanted to improve my VO2 max. Those are kind of too short intervals to do VO2 max. Plus you'd have to take a really short rest to be VO2 max. I don't do it to buffer lactic acid. I don't want to go really anaerobic and build up all this you know, acidic blood. I do it because I want to teach myself to be a more efficient runner. Running economy, Jack Daniels would kind of term it as reps. You get the benefits of improving your cardiovascular system and working your heart at a pretty high intensity, but the key is really stimulating some fast twitch muscle fibers, which kind of go dormant if you're just a pure marathon ultra runner and you don't do any speed work, to start turning over faster and to get my running form back. And it's something that I've kind of struggled with, I'll admit. I screwed myself over because I was doing all these mountain ultra trail races, and then I tried to go back to the flat flat road marathon speed, and I never got my speed back quite to the degree I needed it to qualify for the Olympic trials. And it's something I kind of regret last year, but I didn't focus enough for enough months at a time with enough concerted speed work to really get that efficiency back. And so what happened was flat marathon pace, 5:15 per mile marathon goal pace, didn't feel comfortable like it used to. I was better off in college when I was running sub 30-minute 10K and I moved up to the marathon, and 5:15 mile pace felt a lot more comfortable mechanically. Whereas, you know, if you're coming from an ultra running background, especially a mountain ultra background, and you're used to going up, grinding up mountains with a real slow cadence, maybe power hiking even, it's a different muscular pattern, it's a different neuromuscular pattern. And you also build up your musculature in your legs a lot differently. So that's why it's hard to be great. It's hard to be a great mountain runner, mountain climber at the same time as a flat speed road runner. And it, you know, it depends on the duration and distance of the race, but that's just kind of one example of how stimulating muscle fiber types through training could really affect your performance and your efficiency essentially. And it's why that you want to always be building aerobic base and building a large base of miles, because you're getting these you're fine-tuning your form always through years and years of running, through, you know, decade of base training basically, and consistent mileage. Your body, your mind, and your muscles are slowly working to improve your running form over time, improve your running economy over time, and that's going to give you really the best results in the long term. That and building capillary beds, mitochondria, blood flow, because your VO2 max isn't going to increase a huge amount. I mean, I'm already at the age where my VO2 max is not going to increase a huge amount because I get, you know, a higher max heart rate. My max heart rate's going down with age. You could get some improvements in how much blood each pump of your heart could generate, but as you get older, your VO2 max goes down generally. But you could still get improvements in velocity at VO2 max and pace at VO2 max, because your running form essentially has gotten better over time. And, you know, after years and years of training, you're really fine-tuned with every little neuromuscular pattern in your running form. And it's why you see the efficiency of these marathon runners and ultra marathon runners, especially as they age in their 40s and 50s, and they could really knock down their PRs just because their running economy is still improving over time. And it's a long process. It takes a long time for those fast twitch muscle fibers to convert to be more like slow twitch muscle fibers, but that's really a key in success in building your consistent improvement and adaptation when you move up to longer distances. Because if you have a lot of these fast twitch muscle fibers and they're not helping you a whole lot at marathon pace, if you could get them to act more like slow twitch muscle fibers, they get more oxidative properties basically, then you've given yourself more tools, you've given yourself a better workload, a distribution of the workload, so to speak, to tackle having good form over a full 42 kilometers or 26.2 miles. And so basically that conversion is going to help you in the long term. And it's, you know, my form still breaks down at the end of the marathon because I've been working too hard and maybe my muscle fibers are fatigued. And, you know, if you overtrain, your muscle fibers get fatigued and then your form gets crappy and then you break down. So, you know, you have to be careful in that regard, but it's the reason why we do speed training even as ultra runners. And, you know, you get a certain muscle tension, you get a certain movement pattern. You want to stimulate the fast twitch muscle fibers if you're training for ultras and marathons, just like you want to extend your endurance, speed endurance, if you're, you know, moving up in distance. And it's kind of a balance and interplay always between stimulating some fast twitch muscle fibers, converting fast twitch muscle fibers to act more like slow twitch muscle fibers. But that's really the importance of the mind-body connection. I'm just skimming the surface on neuromuscular training here, but it comes down to movement patterns, it comes down to efficiency of movement, improving your running form through training, and yeah, just basically improving your efficiency, running economy and efficiency. Those should go hand in hand for the long run, so to speak. And so that's my rant on that topic. Feel free to comment below with future training talk topics. Thank you again for all the support and all the views. Share this on social media if you haven't already. You can follow me on Facebook. I have an athlete page, Sage Canaday fan page, as well as Instagram and Twitter at Sage Canaday. Our coaching website that Sandy and I run, sagerunning.com. We have training plans for half marathon to 100 miles. So thanks again, and stay tuned for more VO2 Max Productions.